Hi everyone, this is Lien and welcome back to the Crafty Meraki YouTube channel. Today I'm featuring the Whole-Heartedly Mini Slimline from Crafty Meraki. So I took this watercolor paper from WaterArt. It's a really cheap paper, whatever you have at home is perfectly fine. I took some distress inks because I want to do some ink smooshing, and therefore I have my distress inks, and then I have this paper, just cheap printer paper that I laminated, and this will be my surface where I am doing the ink smooshing on top. So I have my distress sprayer here and I'm just spritzing some water and then I'm pressing that paper down into the area. Now as you can see, ink smooshing really is all about continuing with the smooshing, because the first attempt is so ugly. I was like, really? In the past I did it a few times and it was already a long time ago that I did it, so I decided to do it again for today's card. And the inks that I'm using today, I wanted a bit of a variety of colors, and then I think somewhere in the back of my mind I recalled this combination from a really old video from Christina Werner. Although what you see here is not the end result, I decided to add another color later on, and I truly think that those four colors together, so we have the worn lipstick, squeezed lemonade, tumbled gloss and seedless preserves, I truly think that this is one of those smooshing combinations from Christina Werner. That being said, you see the difference that these seedless preserves brings. So in between, when it's too wet, I can always use a paper towel. Also, if you like what you already have and you just want to add some smudges, use your heat gun if you have, otherwise let it just air dry and then go back for another layer. The difficult thing about ink smooshing, in my opinion, is to know when to stop or to dare to go further. You know, you never know how it's going to end up because you're smooshing. And it's a bit, you will never get the same results. That's the hard thing about it, because if you really like a smooshed thing that you made, then you will not make it exactly the same. It's just not an option. That being said, I'm just adding a few more elements here. Also, this paper is way larger than the mini slimline, of course, that I need. So I will only use a part of this paper. And then it's all about deciding what part you prefer most. So I just keep smooshing, drying in between until I'm happy. That's what it's all about. And I must admit, the seedless preserves, it's just, you cannot not use it. I mean, if you see this, it's heaven. Also, the lovely thing, once you smooshed your paper on top, you often get those bubbles on your laminated piece or whatever you're working on, and those will really get those droplets into those areas. Okay, so here I decided to stop the smooshing and keep it like this, and personally frame this, hang it on the wall. I think it's lovely, but that was not the purpose of today. So we are going to die cut it. As I said, the Whole-Heartedly Mini Slimline, I'm using it today. I'm trying to sort of get all the colors, as you can see here, and then we are going to use the hearts. So the whole idea of this actually was to show you that there is more than just using this panel together. Some of the design team members with the Slimline die used it as a stencil, which is genius. I didn't have the Slimline die, but now I have the mini and I'm so happy with it. I wanted to use something else, so I'm just taking those hearts. Now, I wanted to keep them in order, but then I didn't use the order, so just forget about it. But I did like the spacing of the hearts thanks to the die. So that's why I took all the hearts out using purple tape to have it in place. And then I trimmed down a mini slimline panel from the same watercolor paper. Why? Because it has the same base color, it has the same texture, and I just prefer having that throughout the whole card instead of using several white cardstocks, you know. So I used this triangle to help me get everything spaced out. It was a struggle, and there are way better ways to add your line of hearts straight and spaced out right. But you know, from time to time, I'm not thinking clearly, and I'm using way harder methods to get things in place. So on the back of all of the hearts, I'm adding thin foam squares just to have a bit of dimension going on, not too much, but it's always nice to have dimension. And for the next few minutes of this video, I want to apologize because, well, it was a struggle to get all the lines of hearts right, and I was wondering whether you would like to see it or not. And then it's, well, some people really like the perfect video and others really like to see the struggles or the mess ups or all those things. And just because I struggled here because I always say everyone is a bit, everyone has a bit of autism, you know, not the huge deal, like some people are really struggling, and not like that, but it's like some people cannot bear to have, for example, purple and green next to each other, you know. There are some things that I cannot handle personally, and that's when you have some sort of a geometric thing going on and it doesn't fit, you know. So my second row of hearts, something was wrong and I didn't got spacing right, and then I decided to use the negative and line it up with my first row and sort of have the spacing of the second this way, which is not efficient. But until today, I don't really have an efficient way to do it, but I really like the spacing here. And I decided to add a heart above because it was just strange. It was just too big, the gap here. That being said, what I also had was some hearts that got loose. So I just took that negative again. I wanted to show you how easy it can be to just fix it. But I also wanted to show you how hard it was for me to get this card the way I had in my mind. So in my mind, these rows would all go next to each other, just spaced out like the first and the second. Now when I added the third row and I already had some trouble, it was just not my day when I started on this card. Although I really wanted to make the card, so that's no doubt about that. But I wanted to have the spacing the same, and I thought that I had figured it out using the lines on this triangle, but apparently I had not, and so it didn't work. You will see it, my third row is not evenly spaced like the first and the second. And at first I thought I'm going to start over, you know, but then I thought no, I'm already struggling so many times here. I'm just continuing with spacing I have now, and I need to figure it out. Now the line that I drew here was also for that tiny bit of autism that I have. I wanted these rows to vary in heights, but I wanted my hearts to be at the same on the same line, you know, always skipping one row. But so I needed a line to help me, guide me, getting those hearts on the same height as my other rows. Now, as you see here, there was another spacing between the second and the third, and I first thought again, just quit, start again anyway. But I was getting really annoyed by myself. It was just not my day, and we shouldn't be this hard for ourselves. So I decided, okay, so we continue. So if I have a fourth row with the same spacing as my first and my second, then you have again that order, you know, for your head, for anything, you again have the order. And then I thought, okay, so if I do a fifth row, then I need the extra spacing again. So that's what I went for. And actually it turned out great, but we all have those struggles. We all have a certain idea sometimes in our head, and it just doesn't want to work out, and we are just getting mad upon ourselves, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. So I decided to work around it, but it was hard, and I first completely blocked. I was, well, frozen at that point because I thought, again, something that isn't working. But you know, here you see there are two rows each time that has the same spacing, and then there is a bit more. Now, I decided to use the Bitty Hugs and Kisses for my sentiment, and I love the sentiment that I used on this panel. But I want to apologize, because aside from all the errors that I had and the struggles that I had already, I apparently didn't film just adding the sentiment. So this was again a moment that I thought, well, just get rid of the video, just get rid of the card. This is again something that happened, so it's maybe a sign. But then I thought, no, no. So truly, I hope that this video helps you, encourage you to keep going. I thought, no. Okay, I missed filming a small part of this video, but I have the bigger video. Then I thought, I will fix it. I will make it up with everyone who's watching right now. Aside from the card that you saw in the beginning, I'm giving you another card, because it's so easy and quick to make a second card with this die. So we are going to make a really simple shaker card using this Whole-Heartedly Mini Slimline. So let me tell you something. Me and shakers, it's like me and cards that change and interactive cards, you know. I don't make them often. I love seeing them. I truly adore everything that everyone is making, but I just most of the time don't make them. But for you today, to fix my mistakes, to fix not filming a small part of my first card, I decided to make a second card for you. So I just have my acetate slightly smaller than this mini slimline panel. I added some score tape on the edges to make sure that everything was sticking really well, and I have some liquid glue in between the hearts to have that acetate firmly on top of my panel. Now for the edges, I have these Diaries foam strips, which are really thin ones and always usable on shakers. I'm just adding them all on the edges, all over. It's really important to close it up, to not have any gaps in your foam that you're using to create the shaker area, because otherwise you will lose your shaker material. So I'm making sure to fill every gap, and once I did that, you can decide to use an anti-static powder tool if you want to. Today I'm not doing that, because there is a large area, and actually if there is something sticking to my acetate or to the foam strips, then I have a bit of glitter everywhere behind my acetate. So that's why I didn't do that. If I have a smaller area for a shaker, I will use it to have the shaker material moving all over. But this actually is the shaker already. And then I decided to add a really simple sentiment strip, again from the Bitty Hugs and Kisses. I white heat embossed it on black cardstock, and I trimmed it using the itty bitty strips. Really handy to trim your strips down. And then I just added everything together. The shaker material is the chunky glitter from Fawn. It's just an iridescent glitter, and I thought with the background that we have, that is clearly the most important thing, or smooching, that I didn't want to distract from that with other colors. So just having the iridescent glittery stuff. And then there are so many areas to place the sentiment, that's why I'm showing it here. There are so many ways to add your sentiment, so you can smoosh all you want, use your favorite pattern paper, cut it out, create a shaker, and then have the same sentiment but all over. So that's what we're doing. Here I also wanted to show you that if you want to switch it up, you can also add one of the hearts inside of the areas where the heart is die cut from. but I didn't do it in the end. But I just wanted to show you how easy it is to have a bit more color if you didn't think that this was enough. So I left it off. I'm going to add this sentiment strip, trying to have it straight as well. But actually the die really helps with that. If you want to be sure, use a D-square ruler or anything else you might have. And then I have my 2 panels. So I'm just going to add both of them onto slimline card bases using some adhesive roller. And once both are on there, these cards are completely finished. So I have one piece of paper smooshed, die cut, and I used all the elements. And I can make a similar card like the first one with the hearts that I have left over, or use it for another purpose. I really like the thing with smooshing, and all the hearts are different, and it's really cute. So that being said, I'm really sorry for missing a part of the making. I hope that you enjoyed this video, however, and that you might have some ideas, maybe some better ways to add these hearts on your panels if you want to, but most of all that you enjoyed it. I want to thank you all for stopping by. I truly appreciate it. I wish you all a spectacular day, and I'll be back soon with some new inspiration for you. Bye!